I'm Deborah Bly, and I'm a realtor here in the Houston, Gulf Coast, Galveston, wherever in the Houston area. And we're going to talk today about insurance here in the Gulf Coast area or the Houston area. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty important topic for us. And I am here with actually a really great friend, Matthew Hill, and you have been my insurance agent for
quite some time.
Quite some time. So we have several properties, and I would say 95% of them are insured through Matthew here. So you're definitely, how long have you been doing this?
22 years.
22 years. So definitely an expert here, local in our area. You work here and you live here, and you know your stuff pretty good.
Well, thank you.
So we wanted to talk today about insurance here in the Gulf Coast area specifically. And I think just start off, like, there's different types of insurance, right?
There are, Deb. So there's three types of insurance if you live in a coastal county. And the coastal counties are Galveston County, Brazoria County, Chambers County. You're going to have a homeowner's policy, also called a hazard policy or a fire policy. It's basically a homeowner's policy that has the wind and hail excluded from it. You'll have a windstorm policy through the Texas Windstorm Insurance Association in a coastal county.
The coastal county.
Correct.
But like if you're on one side of a road, you wouldn't be able to get that.
There are some exceptions here and there, but for the most part, if you're in Harris County, you're going to have a homeowner's policy that has the wind and hail included, or in Fort Bend County. You'll also potentially have a flood insurance policy. You'll have one that's required if your home is in the 100-year floodplain, or optional if it's not.
Yeah, and when we say required, what that means is if you buy cash for a house, there isn't anything required. You can self-insure, which means if the house blows down, you're covering the cost. Or more than likely, most people have a mortgage, and so insurance is going to be a requirement, right?
Correct.
And so you mentioned the three different types of policies, and I know, like you said, most area, Fort Bend County, most of Harris County and everything, that one insurance policy is going to also include wind.
Correct.
Right? And then if you're in Galveston County, and a small portion there of Harris County.
Just a little sliver of land east of 146.
East of 146. There you can get what we call here locally, you can get insured by TWIA.
Correct.
So explain the little differences, I think, real quick between being insured by TWIA and being insured under like the general coverage most everybody else is insured by.
So there are some carriers that do include wind and hail in Galveston and the other coastal counties. In the past, they were monetarily feasible to insure through there. Today, it's maybe 5-10% of the people are insured through those companies, whereas Texas Windstorm is a nonprofit insurance company. They have not been going up on their rate increases.
Yeah.
Or they haven't been going up on their rate in maybe one rate increase in the last 5 years. So their policy rates have been almost frozen, and everyone else has gone above them. So for the most part, most of our clients have been moved back into the windstorm pool over the past 2 years.
Yeah. So saying that if you were like, let's just say Harris County, Fort Bend County, or one of the counties where you could not get TWIA, you have to be in a specific area in order to be eligible to get a TWIA policy, correct?
Correct.
What would you say the premium differences are between being able to use TWIA and not being able to use TWIA?
If you're south of I-10, your home insurance is definitely going to be higher than if it was in Galveston or Brazoria County. And that is because, once again, Texas Windstorm's a nonprofit, and they're probably underpriced right now, honestly, for speaking candidly.
And I know in the past, and actually not that long ago, it really wasn't as big an issue to get that coverage at a reasonable price, but it definitely has ticked up a lot. Why is that?
Well, we are in Houston, or the greater Houston area, but we are not risk pooled with the entire state of Texas. We're risk pooled with the other coastal counties in the other states, and the entire state of Florida.
Yeah.
So when the United States gets hit by quite a few hurricanes, whether they hit Texas or not, we feel the rate increases here. And hopefully, likewise, if we go 2-3 years without the United States getting hit by hurricanes, hopefully we'll see some rate reprieve.
Well, I think part of the equation too is a lot of insurance carriers are completely pulled away, right?
So that's the other part of it. There were quite a few carriers that were writing here. They're no longer writing in the state. A lot of carriers that you've heard the names of them before have been non-renewing policies aggressively. And when there's only a few companies left writing insurance, they don't want to write every single home. So they have to, sometimes if they're competitively priced, they will actually take rate increases to slow down growth.
I know that reinsurance for a lot of these carriers has gone up significantly, and I don't think most people know what reinsurance is. So explain that a little bit.
Okay, so every insurance company purchases reinsurance, and there's only a few reinsurance companies. There are no reinsurance companies, so the reinsurance companies hedge the losses. They will sell insurance to a company like Travelers. Travelers is one of the 30 largest companies in America, not insurance companies, just companies. They're on the Dow 30. If a company that big's buying reinsurance, you can bet that every other company does.
And by that, what you mean is your insurance carrier, whether that be Farmers, Allstate, or whoever it is, they're offering an insurance policy on your home. But should we have a significant event, I'm not going to use the word catastrophic, should we have a significant event, that insurance company is actually insured by another company that helps mitigate their losses.
Correct. So instead of them taking maybe a $7 or $8 billion loss, it's mitigated down to a $2 or $3 billion loss. But then in turn, the premiums that you're paying don't just go to that insurance company, they're also going to the reinsurance company.
And there's less reinsurance companies out there than there were.
There are.
And they're charging.
They seem to be losing year over year, so each year they charge more.
And as they charge more, the insurance companies charge more, so we all
Pay more.
Pay more. So now we're going to talk realtor. You're looking to purchase a home. When you go to purchase a home, you're going to get yourself under contract. You're going to have that option period where you can do all of your inspections and the whatnot. This is the time when you should speak to Matthew Hill or somebody, because you can have one home literally within a quarter mile from another home and have completely different insurance prices. What are some of the things that affect those insurance prices?
The age of the home is a really big one. A lot of people like the mature trees, the older style of architecture. Unfortunately, that's
the Beaver Cleaver neighborhoods.
Exactly, your 1950s or 60s ranch house. That house is going to be the most expensive to insure in the area, most likely.
Significantly.
If you're in southern Harris County, it will be a significant increase over a newer home.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's a really great point to look at. If you're in southern Harris County, so like, let's say,
south of I-10.
Clear Lake area, El Lago, Nassau Bay, some of these, really nice older neighborhoods. You can be in an older neighborhood in League City and have a completely different insurance premium.
Correct.
Just because you're covered in Galveston County, which is kind of counterintuitive, right?
You would think
the
so.
further away from the coast you should get lower premiums, and actually that's not the case.
Well, for the carriers, their Galveston Island is Webster, Nassau Bay, Seabrook, Friendswood, Harris County, and Clear Lake, because they're not insuring anything in League City or Friendswood, Galveston County, or Dickinson, or Texas City, or all the way to the coastline. The first dollar that they pay out is in South Harris County. So that is why the rates are so incredibly high in South Harris County.
Yeah. Also, let's talk a little bit about the difference in coverage between an older home and a newer home. Okay.
On the policies, usually the policies will have the same coverages, whether it's older or newer, but the need for a more comprehensive policy is definitely there if your home is older. We tend to file more claims for broken pipes and accidental discharge. The pipes are older, it doesn't matter what kind they are, certain ones degrade faster, but the one thing I can tell you is if it's an older home, we tend to file a higher frequency of claims for broken pipes.
Also, probably wiring isn't a thing.
So on the wiring, I was going to say it's really not a thing.
Okay.
Because the only time it's an issue is with aluminum wiring.
Aluminum wiring.
And no one's going to close on a house with aluminum wiring.
Says who?
The inspector. Okay. Usually the inspector.
Well, they call.
Yeah.
I mean, believe it or not, I've closed on many homes with aluminum wiring.
You are an investor.
I have sold a home to many people that bought a home with aluminum wiring, and in all honesty, like it's a buyer's choice.
Correct.
You have a house that's built in the 60s, it's been there, let me do my math real quick, 25 plus say 40, it's been there 65 years, it hadn't burnt down yet. And I'm not saying you should buy a house with aluminum wiring.
Correct.
I'm just saying all things in
Yeah.
perspective.
So the only problem with aluminum wiring right now, today in 2025, is there's only one company that will offer insurance.
Again, we're back to insurance.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely the aluminum wiring playing a factor.
Correct, and it has to be pigtailed, and
Yeah.
it limits your ability to possibly get the policy that you would like.
I think a really important question too, Matthew, is so once we have an idea of what insurance is going to cost on a home, and we're okay with that. What specific particular things could a buyer, instructor, inspector to be looking for that might affect the cost of insurance?
One of the things that's probably the insurance companies are looking at the most right now is the age of the roof.
Yeah.
So a lot of carriers are not writing homeowners policies on roofs that are 15 years old or older.
Yeah.
That's kind of the magic number right now, 15 years.
Yeah, which is really funny because when we put roofs on in this area, we have 20 and 25-year shingles, so you think, okay, you've got 25 years out of a roof, but that's not necessarily the case.
So with the amount of rain and wind that we get here, the roofs are supposed to be the architectural shingles are supposed to have a 30-year warranty on them, but in this area they last between 20 and 25 years, depending on.
I've got one that's lasting 26 years right now, knock on wood, but if I were to go sell it, that would be an issue.
It would.
So if you already are in a home that has an older roof, your insurance is not necessarily going to stop covering that home.
Correct.
But once you go to sell it and transfer over to a new insurance policy, that's where you're going to find you have the problem. And I think that's something that a lot of sellers don't understand. It's like, I've got insurance and I've got no problem. That's because you've had insurance.
Correct.
And you're not switching into a new policy.
If you took a policy out with a roof that's 14 years old, in 6 years from now, they're not going to kick you out of the policy traditionally.
And then the only thing that I know you had mentioned it before, because you're very gracious and you come and you educate our agents here in our office so that we can educate our clients. And one of the other reasons insurance prices have gone up so much is the cost of rebuilding with labor and materials.
Correct. So when we talk insurance, there's the rate and then there's the premium. So the rate is what the company charges per $1,000. The rates have been going up, but then on top of that, because of inflation and other factors, replacement cost of the homes have been going up. So when I educate my new clients, usually replacement cost is one of the things that people have a difficult time wrapping their mind around in the beginning. And that is, when they're buying a house for $400,000, why are we going to insure it for $450,000 or $500,000? Right. And the best way I can describe it is, when you're buying a house, that is what the market is dictating the house is worth, or how much this person wants to sell the house.
But the builder that will be rebuilding the house is dictating what the cost of rebuild is going to be.
The cost of lumber is the cost of lumber, the cost of the labor, and profit and overhead. There's a set number to that, and usually it's in this area, it's higher than what the homes are selling for today.
All right. Do you have anything else to add?
I think we've covered quite a bit.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate you guys tuning in. This should give you a little bit of an overview on insurance here in our Gulf Coast area. I just want to again say Matthew is wonderful. He certainly is very educational, and quite frequently I send my buyers over to him and he gives them a whole education over the phone, and that's greatly valued. I want to just finish off by saying one more thing. There are a lot of 1-800 national carriers out there. Do you have an opinion as to why? I know why. Do you have an opinion as to why it would be probably beneficial to speak to somebody local in the market versus? I'm not going to name names. There's a lot of really big ones out there, there are some that my clients are very loyal to, but they really don't understand our local market.
Well, one of the things I would say is some of the products out there, some of the companies that are selling insurance, you don't have an agent. And if you don't have an agent, you don't have anyone to bat for you when something goes sideways. it's always good to be able to call and ask an agent a question, whether that's me or anyone else. They work for you. They don't work for the insurance companies.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit.
Yeah, I think that, and again, I'm going to tell one story. Had a client, great client, wonderful people, and this is after one of our hurricanes, and they had just put on a brand spanking new roof. They were pretty insistent on using an insurance company they had used for years and years that wasn't here local to our area. 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks after they closed on the home, they get a notice from their insurance company that they need to put a new roof on. They had not gotten, their insurance company had not looked for a windstorm certificate. And then when they went to get a windstorm certificate on the house, found out they couldn't get a windstorm certificate on the house because after the hurricane that had come in our area, you know, we get all these tradespeople that come in here with their pickup trucks to go ahead and get roof done because there's a lot of work to be done, and not knowing the local windstorm guidelines here in our area, they put on the wrong type of shingle. Could not get windstorm coverage, and they had to put a brand new roof on.
A brand new roof.
They had to put a brand new roof on a house that had just had a brand new roof put on it in order to maintain insurance. So that's one horror story that I'll never forget. I bet you have a few yourself.
I do.
We appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, Matthew's phone number will be on the link below, along with his email address, and very easy to get a hold of, and just really great company to work with. Highly, highly recommend them.
Thank you for having me, Deb.
Absolutely.